Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me. Okay, Pisceans, thank you so much. Okay, never mind what they say, you are doing good. This is one of those really robust and slightly ruckus years in a good way. I'm very proud of you guys. I think that you're holding up really good, and come what may, you probably have everything packed out and everything packed in the way that you should have already had it. So to me it looks like Pisces has been solving a little puzzle underneath it all, and they weren't really worried about it. Most of the things you're hearing on the news or from other people, you're like, yeah, I knew, like the minute that it hit the news, I knew. So to me it looks like most people with Piscean ascendants, or Piscean suns, are just going to be so over it by now. They're going to be so over it, and they're just going to start their own thing. And it's very, very difficult because everybody's like a kid and they never understood anything you were saying. Maybe they never took your advice. They could never fully listen to what you were trying to do. They couldn't ever respect maybe also a part of your scheme, or they weren't there for you as friends. And now Pisces is the only one who knows. Maybe you're the one with the coziest house. Maybe you're the one with the most, you're the hostess with the mostest. Maybe you have the most money saved up, or you have a very amazing labyrinth of people and friends already kind of laid out, and it's so hard to be you sometimes because it is so good to be who you are in this particular year. So to me it looks like Rabbit Year 2023 is going to give us all an incredible vision and an incredible time, should we have some Piscean energy in us, and also should we be available to listen. Not a lot of people can hold hope like that. Not everybody can do it. Like, like you need to also be drawing the line here. But my God, maybe you can help somebody. There are so many impoverished and shy people. If you're interested, you can do like a soup kitchen deal, or like you can help your friend or a family member that is obviously going through a really hard time, but it's just so difficult. Because what if that very person yelled at you on the street before? What if that very person pissed on your fence? What if they actually really didn't like you, and they were the only one, maybe even at a time, that were the rudest person to you? So not everybody, but in some people's cases, for certain Pisces, there could have been a vendetta when there now can be a holding of a hand. So maybe you could have slapped that person on the head before earlier and would have done right. Now is a question of complete forgiveness and total piousness, actually, and compatibility with quite a few different people, because you're basically saying, look, you were like this and this and this to me, you've done this and this, you've been mean, or you've been rude, and actually, you know what, I'm going to forgive you. And not only am I going to forgive you, I'm going to help you and your family survive this. So the most important thing about certain Piscean people is their compatibility with almost anybody during 2023. So even though you were left behind, and maybe you were a sickly kid and nobody trusted you, nobody really knew what you were saying, you are the friendliest person this year around. Everybody needs a Pisces. Like everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Like everybody needs a Pisces. You know what I mean? So everybody loves a good snuggle with a nice, healthy, feel-good and simple, sentimental, caring, and oh my God, so wise and knowing Pisces in this particular year. But not every single person is going to get it, because there are some parts of you that are like, wait a minute, like they're going to wig out. You'll be like, wait a minute, that person, no, that person cheated on me, or like that person, burned through like freaking half my credit card. Why should I even say anything nice to this person? Why should I even talk to them? So like that's the thing. It's like nobody knows how you're going to do it. I don't really know, but you're going to basically combine or compile all these people, all these situations. Very good reputation coming from you now. Very good. It's almost like an aura of goodness. Maybe you smell very good. Maybe you feel very good. There's something very sophisticated about something you're doing. Maybe your website is doing fantastically. Maybe the way that you look in front of people is very mature. Maybe how you seem and how you work things out and how you act in front of another person is so super good and super clear. Maybe your conduct with people, your body is just all working really great, and you've always got something to share. Maybe your house is full of goodies, or you just have the right personality for anybody during this time. Pisces knows, Pisces really does, fully, will always know. And There is nothing else. So some of the time is just like milk, you know, it's like nothing, you know, it's like fog. And then we have you, and that's it. Sometimes you are at the center point during a year like this. You might be the only guy talking. You might be the only person that knows how to form a structure, a sentence, or how to find a place for somebody, or how to really live. You may actually only know. So you've done this for ages. I feel that you've put this puzzle together since you were a child. Some parts of you are so good and are so onto it. So to me, like, it's just simple. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best. Pisces gives a lot of really sound advice. You might have everything, like the right stomach for the situation. You might be able to have the right state of compassion. Everything is kind of made up, but it's also matched up perfectly. It's like, I've imagined this, but that actually turned out to be really good. So like, I don't know, I just imagined one day that I would do this, and then it turns out to be the best-selling product on the market. It's like, I don't know, I imagined that I would just like do this in my life, or I will try this or try that, and it sounds very kind of like so and so. It's like, I don't know, when I was 9 years old, I knew this would happen in the world, and you know, now I have this in my life, or like in my house I got this. Okay, awesome. I don't know why I did this. It's like an invention. It's like you've invented something, and it might have been a part of your culture, or a part of your childhood, or a part of an unseen world, like a whimsical thing. It's like, I just made this up, and suddenly it is the best. Something you did for a while is going to work now. It didn't work. Nobody liked it. Nobody cared about it. Nobody knew what you were saying. Nobody could even remember it until now. So for example, you have some old work that couldn't see the light of day, or did see the light of day, and nobody liked it, even to the point where they didn't bother criticizing it. They were just like, I don't know what that is. And then here we have a window where your previous work, your songs, your designs, your flat, I don't know, your cat, anything that was misunderstood and misaligned could be probably the only thing that works. So if you are a Piscean person, and if you've been trying so hard and you didn't know how to launch something that you've done, or you didn't know how to talk about something because you just simply were not aggressive enough, or weren't rude enough, or weren't a fighter enough or something, you weren't economical enough or something enough, you basically got it going on, baby, and you may as well put that book out there. You may as well, because it's going to be nice. Come June, July, it's a very nice time to be a little bit conformist to other people and understand what other people are doing, how their world work. And yeah, sure, get yourself an agent or a guide. It's not for every single Pisces, but some people would be very good in groups. And finally paid well for what you're doing and seeing for who you are, unless you are very hysterical. So if you have craziness, meaning if you have a very emotional personality traits, and if you get very emotional about people, or you feel very sad and sulky, and then you have like some capitalist views, and then you want to like go to bed with somebody, and then you don't like them, and then you want to tell them about the world and how you like, I don't know, like kumbaya, and you know, you go and visit the Amazon sometimes, and you have so many friends here, and then uncompatible style of life there. And if you're really tipsy-turvy and roly-poly Pisces with a neurological issue, or kind of like an issue, stay there. Try not to push that energy onto anybody, but because of this also you might thrive. It's amazing. It's a miracle. Even if you are a little bit crazy, you will probably thrive, and people are going to want to see that. People are going to want to do that. People are going to want to marry you anyway, or you know, just do things around you. And people can even close a blind eye even if your product sucks. So for example, if you have grown some apples and they're half eaten by some kind of a parasite, people are still going to want to buy them apples. How about them apples? You know, so it's like, even if you make music and it has the most drugged out, derogatory, crazy, repetitive things going on in the mix, it's going to be only you maybe that is the boss of that scene, but there is definitely going to be an art scene for you. So we have to be also very careful with that. We don't want to overstate it. Like, you don't want to accidentally become a dragon too soon, because 2024 is going to be the year of the dragon. You don't want to mature into this big personality too fast. You don't want to like make all that money right now because there's not going to be enough later. So it's very important not to put extra juice in it. It's just a nonchalant, fast way of thinking and clicking with people here. It's very quick. So if you're also very economical, if you're a naturally fast and creative person, if your brain is very, very quick, if you've got a turbo brain like me, if you're still listening to this video, probably you probably have a quick brain, you know. So like that's the thing. Many people, many Pisces are going to be very, very well off, but it's not all going to be economical. So we have to also be careful with you. Like we don't want to burn out. We don't want to overpromise. You know, just like be gentle with people, because I don't think everybody with a Piscean like moon or sun actually has the full guts or the full brawn to make things continue. I don't think that everybody can push on through. Like I'm going to make sure I don't miss a heartbeat. Like I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to present myself and I'm going to keep on, keep on, keep on. And yeah, some of you might hit jackpot very quickly. It's like, wow, jackpot. But the thing is basically not to do it over and over, because you might run out of self-esteem or luck or joy, especially if it becomes mechanical or mathematical. It's like I figured out that any door I walk into works for me during this year. Fantastic. I'm going to walk in through as many doors as I can. Try not to be that person. And it's not necessarily about laziness or heaviness, but sometimes you have to relax, because also, like say with rejuvenation and detox and health, you know, I really love that stuff. I love it. You have to sometimes lie down and have a lazy day. You have to have like experience a bit of cruelty. Like for example, you drink like certain teas. It's not just magic. Like you drink the tea and you get fine. It's not like that. You do eventually get really fine. It's just like you can cull almost any problem in your body through drinking tea, but you do have to have like a little night of the soul sometimes. Sometimes you got to like sit it out, like you got to like get in bed and sleep it off. Sometimes it's really hard. If you want to cause very inspiring and emotional events in your life, and you want to really take advantage of these incredible prizes and treasures that are scattered all over, 2023 and even 24, even 25 for you guys. Very, very like careful with this, you know, don't overdo it. But there's like a lot of glee there for some very, very lucky and sensitive Piscean people. It's very important also to tell the whole story, to be truthful, sometimes to repent, to be kind. If you've lied to somebody, you know, say it to their face. Sorry, I sort of lied, or, you know, whatever, like, or, you know, go to church, you know, confessionals are very good for some people. Also making friends that are good for you, and also keep you around, you know, and sometimes making like a tired plan or like a slow plan can make a fast plan even faster. So it's about variety of frequency. The worst we can do is burn things out by being too cosmetic or too computerized. So I think that one of the worst things that can happen is being too processed and going too like robot into this coming age. So we don't want you to necessarily do that. So this is basically one of the worst things that has happened to me in the past is, you know, you work out something that works, you work out an algorithm that works, and then you basically don't want to let go, and you can't go past it. So a computerized thought or story, or like a motive, a music, for example, if you really like electronica, like that's all good, but you know, sometimes electronica is very repetitive and you can't walk out of it. So we don't want you to accidentally start making themes. It's still about being sort of not aggressive, organic, and it's still about growing. And it is, yes, it's still about having a life and having a lot of light and self-esteem and having growth and having naturalness about this time. But yeah, for some of you guys, there is definitely going to be like, okay, I can do this and I'll win. I'll push a button and I'll get a result. I know exactly the person to ask for money. I know exactly the agency to approach. I know if I knock on this door, I'll get a yes. And some of it is right and it's true, but then a lot of it gets very boring. And you will see it in other people when they look at you and they figure it out. It's like, you've been lying to me, or like, oh, you just want me for this, or you're just using me for this. So it's important that people that have a lot of ease suddenly, who are Pisces, even though Saturn is going into your sign eventually this year, 2023, it's important that you're not just like showing off and shocking people and walking free from whatever and just getting that get out of jail free card, you know, constantly, or getting loans constantly, or like pushing the button and out comes the money, you know. So we need to make sure that you aren't growing into that person, because it's going to be very hard to be from snake year onwards, 2025, for people that have grown into a person that is dependent on other people's income, or like a certain type of institution for growth and health and vitality. So we still kind of need to be vital within ourselves here, and to be healthy and to be real and to be self-renewed, and not to be boring to oneself as well, which is something that happens in a Piscean life. And also we have to start doing things and working things out for pleasure itself. So that's also another thing. Staying human, staying humble, even though things are given to you for free during a year like this, and eventually getting to evolve into an even more humble, even more beautiful, even more caring person. So remaining human, remaining touched, remaining sensitive, still wanting to be there, still wanting to be real, still wanting to be vulnerable, and not just for face value. And then eventually we go into September, and September is going to be very dark for you guys. Huh? So that's the thing. If you have been trying to do something that other people didn't want to do, so for example, you've been trying to sell something or get people on the team where they didn't want to be, or if you've started something that didn't make sense to somebody else, but they still went along, if you've captivated somebody, if you've captured somebody without really having a full relationship or a full heart in the relationship, if you have somehow taken something away, stolen, it's going to be very difficult. So we have to be very humble and human, because September you kind of not necessarily get judged, but the tables can turn, and not a lot of us can survive this. So like a sudden need to go now. So like September could be like a sudden switch, and all of that money, for example, that you've made unprofessionally or unconsciously, or all of that information that you have shared which was hurtful or burdenful, or people that you've met and you've wanted to keep around out of some kind of spite for your ancestors or ex people in your life, that's going to start to show cracks. So self-medication, addiction, drug use, being obsessive compulsive about certain things, psychosis, and unprecedented behavior isn't going to be easy to forgive. So if you have been given this huge sweet window from now to like September, like October 2023, that's wonderful, but we have to somehow also close down on the details and what do you really need, and to make sure that you don't eat more than you need to, that you don't say more than you have to, that you're not doing more than, even though you are forgiven, you are allowed to fully sensually, emotionally express yourself, and even go beyond those boundaries or levels that you have been able to reach before. But then in September's end, we have to understand censorship and kindness, and also some people are not going to be there for you because of something that could potentially be found out. For example, we find out they've been harboring something, or laundering money, or being with very, very young people, you know, like using very young people, or you've been abusive, you know, to somebody in your family or something, and maybe it won't affect that person, but it kind of starts to spread. So energy starts to spread. It's like a virus. And then eventually by the end of 23, come 24, there's going to be no end to it. People calling you out on things, people writing you emails, also people being very disgruntled, for example, about something that you've provided that is not working or cannot help. So for example, you've been selling snake oil, and you know that, and then suddenly by the end of the year you will not be able to get away from people, basically potentially like calling it quits, or not necessarily suing, but you know, could get close to that. It's a very, very big amount of emails and energies you can get by the end of the year, should you have not been conscious about the conduct that you've chosen. So yeah, I understand a lot of people get corrupted. Like say if you notice they can do something amazing, like get incredible freedom or money or, you know, hospitality in the beginning of the year, you might be like, yeah, great, I can do this. And then another part of you might start to wonder, So maybe, you know, this is what we see a lot in the governments, you know, so like the guys get up, and usually the guys, not necessarily, but usually, to those big positions, and then they start, for example, having sex with underage people, or they start to do a lot of drugs, or they start to portray themselves as something they're not, while they have like an incredible addiction or obsession, or even rudeness, or a violent part of them comes through. So people are tested with power, people are tested with fame, with money, with ease. You know, when you have it easy, how nice would you be? Like, would you still connect to your mother if you had it easy? Would you still be proud of who you are? Would you still be kind and centered and cultured? Would you still have your consciousness intact, even if you had it very easy suddenly? And then eventually, by the end of 23, we get a big answer for it all. So not everybody, but some people have to speak out about something that they did. It's like, oh, you guys, for example, I've been selling you, I don't know, like say a product that now got tested and turns out it can give you cancer. Just an example. Not me, but you know, just an example. Ephemeral example. And then like Pisces basically has to go and do something about that. It's like having to stand in front of an audience, having to pay back those customers, having to answer for something. So very, very careful. Even if your invention takes off, even if you can make a lot of money now, even if it's nothing but open doors, be careful and still stay responsible. You know, still stay healing and trustful, and try not to get hit up, because at the end, as we are turning towards the dragon year, there's going to be a lot of people coming out with fraud. Okay, yeah, I already written a book on 2023. Please have a look. It's in the caption section below. So I got to say, there's going to be so many people having to face some kind of consequences for fraud or mischievous behavior by the end of 23, come 24, 25. There's going to be quite a lot uncovered in the governments. And a lot of that, which is behind the Ukraine-Russia conflict, I have not talked about it. I haven't, and I won't, probably. There's going to be quite a lot of that uncovered, a lot of fraud and money laundering and other things. And easy to say is just economics. So basically, we don't have to go there. It's not all there is. It's not quite as harsh as that, but quite many people are going to have a very different worldview in 2025. So come snake year, 2025 eventually, we're going to get it. So all this stuff is under the surface, 23. Then the 24 is just all color. It's all like, you know, it's like dragon year. Here we go. And then 25 is going to be very, very hard-hitting, because a snake is going to find out everything. So if you are also like losing sleep over it, if you've done some really damaging stuff to yourself or somebody else, or if you're doing some really crazy stuff, please come out with it. We need people to start coming out with it themselves without having to be so like dragged to court or like dragged into some very uncomfortable situation karmically. So what goes around comes around inevitably. It's just very, very important to be shy and clear, and not to make like a big deal out of it. If you are now, for example, coming out with something and saying, okay, this is going to solve everybody's life, and then it doesn't and actually makes a big problem, it's very important to be heavy in the heart if you've done anything bad. So it's not just about, oh, I got to cover my butt, like I got to cover my tail, I got to make sure that I don't get caught. Sometimes Pisces might do that. Very easy to do for a Pisces naturally. But like, I have to be very, very proud and have those thinking patterns together and be like, yeah, okay, I've done a crime, or like, you know, I've committed adultery, or I've done this. And then eventually all of those other positions and situations start to open up. So if you have never done anything bad, if you don't have a bad bone in your body, which I don't think is very easy for Pisces, because there's two fish. One is light, one is dark. Okay, it's like a yin yang. You know, you'll always be a little bit, you know. So anything about Pisces, okay, coming through, coming clean. Okay, we all have something clean to come out about. But okay, if you want, you can prepare yourself for 2024 by being the most nice, gallant, conscious person that knows how to speak in front of a crowd, that knows how to say those words, that knows how to stand up for your rights as well, that knows how to talk. It's very important for Pisces to be able to speak. It's very important for them to be nurtured and loved and known, and to be understood and to be very clear. It's very, very nice to be polite and correct. It's good to get speech lessons, speech therapy. It's great to get lawyers as well, but it's all about you. Like if you are writing, write well. If you are speaking, speak well. If you're presenting, present yourself perfectly. So it's about externalized expression still for some of us. And I think it's not just that, it's just about being very well versed. So for example, if you're a professor of anything, learn as much as you can on a subject, even if you're not quizzed for it. It's very important to get through and to become even more mindful, even more conscious, even better than that. And then eventually 24, well, you see, this is the thing. You have so many ways to go, 23, so many rabbit holes, there's so many potentials. 24 to me for a Piscean looks like it's going down. It's not like down, but like it's on a slope. It's like slightly down. So it's going to be maybe slightly uncomfortable what you have to be or do, maybe be a little bit embarrassing, or you might be underneath somebody else's heel, underneath somebody else's thumb. It could be very easy to be employed by somebody you don't want to be around. It's very easy to know somebody that you don't like or don't trust, or it's very easy to be captivated by an organization or a certain thing, like police force, for example, also very likely, or like a party of people that you don't want to be around or near. So it's very nice and eloquent to not go like that, not go like that. I mean, to me, it looks like you have to have faith, everything's squeaky clean. Also, don't have, unless you're completely squeaky clean, don't have social media, because they know what you're saying. Social media, like say, don't have your phone like on, I know, Instagram or Facebook or like TikTok or not. No, TikTok is not so bad, but like say certain platforms like FaceApp, you know, there is software, the spyware inside, like so many things. Like say next to you when you're talking about some very, very hardcore topics, like don't have it in your house. Like things can be very, very weird as to how they come out, and what happens then I'm not sure, but definitely 25, 26, 27, we will all have to be very nervous maybe around surveillance and cameras and time ticking away and not knowing basically what's going on there. So be very, very careful. And I would definitely suggest to plump yourself up for the coming years. Be direct. Use your words in a very powerful way. Stop saying blah, mischief, you know, stuff. Make it very clear and perfect what you're doing. And then stay clear on who you are. And make sure that you know everybody in the group. And making sure that everybody knows you, and that your country of origins is obvious, and that your passport is obvious, you know, your paperwork is nice and clean. Your body also, you know, needs a spruce up, most likely. Piscean people have something to hide. And then there's going to be a very nice, good, sensitive network of people that understand and respect and know everything about you. And yeah, it's good to overshare and tell everybody everything. It's like, I'm this, I'm that, I've come from this, I'm of that. And then eventually, I trust that everybody will get to know you and things will work out fine. So thank you very much, Pisces. Enjoy, and please have a look at the little announcement after this. If you'd like more insights on this year to come, please check out my Almanac for 2023. It has all the information for all the signs, and it is available in Kindle book form and physical book form as well. And also, if you like, have a look at my Patreon with all the details for every sign, for every month, and day-to-day prognosis. And yes, my website, of course, where you can read more about me, and if you like, you can get a booking as well. And yes, I do year-ahead readings, which are very popular every year. And here's my retreat website. If you're curious about coming to see me in Peru, then yes, of course, please like and subscribe. Thank you.